So, punk breaking in 1991, I can't really tell if you guys saw this as a positive thing or a negative thing, or if it was just more complex.
We were being cynical. When we saw it, we were being cynical, and we didn't really see too much of a future vision with it, even though I think maybe we kind of did. But again, it was before the breakout of Nirvana, so there wasn't any really big commercial punk record that had really cracked into the public mainstream.
The title itself is really a joke. That was a running joke, inside joke during the tour, and
it had more to do with the fact that Motley Crue was actually playing Anarchy in the UK. There's two things. It was that, seeing that on television when we got over there, and they're showing Motley Crue singing that song in front of this huge European festival audience, and then the fact that we were playing these festivals, and there were so many people responding to the music. Not just us, and we had already been over there a few times, and so we sort of had some kind of profile. Nirvana had never been over there, and nobody really knew their music at all.
No, you're wrong there. Nirvana was there.
But they went over there when there was a Sub Pop tour. That's true. But again, that was a very sort of small thing, and so this was kind of interesting to us, to seeing all this reaction and this response to bands like us. I think we were in some way we were ill-prepared, because obviously we're being all very flighty and kind of just, you know.
Warts and all. I mean, big ones.
What? Yeah, warts. Yeah, it's definitely warts and all.
Unashamed.
The original intention and ambition of this film was that it wasn't really going to be a film. It was before there was any celebrity currency with Nirvana, and when we went on this tour, we had asked them to come along, and because we liked them, and it was we asked Dave if he wanted to come along with his Super 8 camera and just sort of follow this tour, and we were basically, I think our intention was just maybe to put together some kind of independent tour video that we would have just had, and that we probably would have
home video release.
Yeah, like a home video. And after the tour, we came home. I think Nirvana went right back to Europe, and their record had just come out. Nevermind had just come out, and within 2 months, they kind of did what it did. And I know Geffen Records sort of wanted to make a theatrical release of it if they could. And they kind of drove it into a different gear. But it still obviously is a home movie.
Yeah, I want to ask, where did you guys come up with that whole introduction and speech?
That spilled out of this man's brain on the spot.
Which speech?
The intro.
We came in.
Oh, we came in late. I haven't seen this movie in quite a while. I think last time I saw it was
the whole stream of consciousness kind of poetry thing, where you're kind of dropping references to Bob Dylan, the Fugs, Meat Puppets.
We missed it. I mean, it's just bad cerebral cortex expansion that, I'd like to apologize. I'm sorry. But again, it's a good 12 years down the road, and we're adults now.
I mean, the movie's kind of strange and odd, but if you look closely, you'll see some kind of traditional nods to the films of the 1960s, and especially the rock concert films of the 70s, which I was trying to pay homage to, trying to be something more like, it had a lot of performance in it, something more like Song Remains the Same or something.
We didn't realize...
Without a budget, of course.
Oh, yeah, there was no budget. It was very reckless. I mean, Dave came over with his camera, and I think his camera broke as soon as he came over there. And I heard there was some concerns, like, why do we fly this guy over here, and his camera doesn't work.
The third day in Dublin, the year my camera broke.
And so we got a line on a good working Elmo, and I was waiting for us in London, and so we figured by the time we got to London, we'd pick this camera up. So Dave, in a sense, was like, he was like dead weight on the tour. He was just like...
For a few hours. I shot the whole film with one camera. And I used existing light in the clubs, and sometimes I was kind of dodgy. And
did you use a pogo stick? I forgot to take my Dramamine.
I still apologies to people in the front row. I know. I mean, Like,
It was natural energy.
no tripods were used in the making of this film. It's hard to shoot Super 8 these days. If you want to shoot, if we shot this film now,
Clear Channel would probably own the film at this point.
I mean, everybody pretty much tried to get away from Dave and his camera.
yeah, I was really.
Pretty much except for me, and I really feel sorry for Dave because I mean, Dave and I are pretty close, and I sort of became his kind of puppet. He was feeding me lines, or trying to make me improvise, which was always failing miserably. And I realized, you know, when you're on a tour, etc., there's so much peripheral sort of things going on that you try to sort of escape from anything except for, you know, playing and or eating or something. And so the fact that there's somebody there with a camera trying to get you to sort of do something that's entertaining, and obviously we're having, you know, a hard enough time expending energy just entertaining ourselves. You know, each other. You know, you can see these small dressing rooms and like us and Nirvana, etc., just sort of bouncing off the walls, and you're just, you know, you're smoking bad marijuana. Hash. Yeah, I'm just saying marijuana. It was actually hash because you couldn't get marijuana in Europe.
I've heard that Chris Novoselic is kind of embarking on a political career, but I was wondering, watching this movie today, if that scene where he's smoking that hash under the cup is going to come back to haunt him.
The one thing I like about this movie the most is the way, is the hyper editing of it. I mean, there's so many little clips that go by that just exist for like 2-3 frames of like a baby's face. And so when Dave was editing this film, and he was editing it here in North Hollywood in the back room of his friend's house.
Dave Travis, who's here.
Dave Travis, who was
there he is.
Amazingly beneficial to them.
We edited it in the height of Nirvana Mania in '92, so it was kind of weird. It was kind of being under a microscope. I remember not wanting to include Smells Like Teen Spirit because I thought, oh, you know, we can't have this hit song in this movie. It's just not, you know. It's on MTV all the time. You know, who wants to see my crappy version of it?
I don't think we had a really good enough take of that song.
You know, this whole film was put together with 9 hours of footage. And if you could imagine putting together a 98, 100-minute movie just with such limited, you know, footage, you can see how it really was kind of put together in the editing room, this movie, I think.
It's all about the editing.
When you destroy a bunch of instruments in these shows, what did you do the next night? Did you go to a local guitar store and find some stuff?
We didn't usually destroy them. We actually, sometimes we did, unfortunately, but usually the guitars we use are pretty resilient, so we just kind of tape them back together with gaffer's tape and go out the next night with them.
No, well, Nirvana did destroy. I mean, the first time I saw them, they destroyed everything.
Yeah, that was the last show.
And they were in a band and they had no money. And I asked them, I said, well, what are you going to do about tomorrow's show? And they said they didn't know. They completely incinerated everything on stage. There was these great gigs, and Nirvana had completely stepped it up. I mean, we had played with them in the States a few times, but all of a sudden they had Grohl in the band. And I remember when we did the first show in Ireland, in Cork. And that's when we first met Dave, and he just took the band, and the band as a unit really sort of became something special. We've also been sort of in the process of like listening to old records because we've been remastering them for like reissues, and it's kind of it's kind of scary in a way for me. I don't know. I feel like there's these real sort of primitive qualities that I can never sort of return to. That in some sense I miss, but in some sense I'm glad I'm kind of past the way as far as development is concerned. I don't know. That movie is kind of, I don't know, maybe it's real sort of intimate with us because it's so sentimental. I mean, seeing a band like Nirvana, we're just sort of, at that point, we're just so incredible, you know, and it's really nice to see that again because it was so much fun. You know, just like, it was so exciting.
Or even seeing a brief clip of our friend Joe Cole in the movie, who has been dead for 13 years now, which is, you know, seeing Joey Ramone, you know, of course Kurt, you know, just, you know, yeah, it's It's bittersweet.
Some of the best stuff was not in the movie. I mean, it was like almost every day and all day we kept doing things and seeing things when the camera was off that we were just like looking at each other and going, God, I can't believe we missed that. And I mean, I remember one night walking off stage, and it was a pretty terrible show we had. I think it was pretty dead in the water. And I remember Dave standing there with his camera, and it wasn't on, and Kim just walked up to him and said, like, she was like, that was like a dry hump. I heard you looking at her going, oh, and trying to, he said it again. It was so like devastating. I remember when the Ramones were playing, because we all had access to sit right in front of the Ramones and the audiences at nighttime. They were just like, the European audience freaking out.
Festival stage.
And I remember we were just sort of sitting there right underneath the stage, so close, and we were just looking straight up. And I think your angle was kind of like that too. And I just remember we were sitting there, and Kurt, who had never seen the Ramones before, and he was excited that day because they were playing. And I remember him just sitting on the ground with his legs crossed and his head just down, like he had just sort of like, he couldn't handle it anymore. And he was just like, and I remember like all of us ran across the whole strip there, and we just like jumped on him and completely pig-piled him. And again, your camera was like sitting on the ground. Like, that would have been really nice.
Any questions for Jay, perhaps?
Question for Jay.
He's really talkative.
Hit him up.
We saw you at the El Rey Open for Evan Dando with Cobra Verde, and I was just wondering if The Fog or maybe Dinosaur Jr. or wherever going to tour around here again.
Oh, I've got no plans right now.
Any more questions for Jay?
Doing stuff with the Stooges, I think.
Jay done the Stooges. He got replaced by the original members.
Have you made any other projects that we can see?
Yeah, I've done
What kind of stuff have you made?
I don't know, a lot of stuff. I have a website.
Love dolls.
We got powerfilms.com, and that kind of details my body of work. I've been making films since I was 13 years old. I'm doing a lot of stuff right now. I'm getting all my old films on DVD. That's what I've been kind of working on in the past year. And the first one, Desperate Teenage Love Dolls, is out now. Oh, and I have a music documentary film called The Slog Movie coming out. And that's actually a film that was made 10 years previous to 91. And it's kind of interesting how, to me, the two films sort of parallel each other in a way.
Tell them what it's about.
It's similarly done as 91, just, single camera coverage, just me shooting and really capturing these bands playing live in their element at the time.
This is for Steve?
For all.
Oh.
Steve, answer one.
I thought you said for Steve particularly. Were the Beatles?
One of them.
The Beatles were, they were very influential. Oh, we love the Beatles.
The Ruddles, too. Saw the Ruddles movie last night.
How was it?
Yeah. Cool.
It was the new one, right?
It was the sequel.
Yeah.
And Wings. We're not cynical anymore. We embraced the mainstreamization of punk rock. I mean, it should be for everybody, and we're not judgmental about it. I don't care if it's something that you consider real junior or whatever. I mean, it's to us, it's a complete success.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, guys. All right.
Thanks a lot for
Thanks for coming, checking out the movie. Thanks for slogging with us through this, and thank you. See you at the gig, all right.
Check out Dave's other movies. They're all really good. They're really good rock and roll movies.
Congratulations.
Next time.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll see it.
That was great.
All right, very cool.
So we got power.
Who, your teacher? I met him. Yeah.